Thank you so much. Got my mic on now. Can we hear us? Okay, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I really appreciate your ears this morning, and I'm just humbled to be here and talking to you guys. I respect so many people in this room. Monica was a few weeks back. She emailed me and she's like, "Paul, what do you need for your speech? What AV needs do you have?" And I have very specific demands, is what Monica found out. As a speaker, I'd said that some of my demands are I need 2 bottles of Fiji water chilled at 47.5 degrees. I need 6 wintergreen mints wrapped and a bowl of jelly beans with just pinks and reds only. And she actually, we have the jelly beans here. We have the mints, and she has the 2 bottles of Fiji water on ice. So thank you. That's not 47.5 degrees though, so that's about 58. So a little bit more about myself for those of you who don't know me. I've had Salt of the Earth for about 10 years now, just over 10 years. Originally, my neighbor started the company in her garage. I was one of her first employees growing up as a kid. And I've always been very entrepreneurial in my life. And I thought it was an interesting company. So years later, I was in school and college. I called up my neighbor and asked her what she was doing with the brand Salt of the Earth. She didn't really know what to do with it at the time. And so I asked her if she'd sell it to me. And just to make a long story short, a few months later, I purchased the company from her. It was in 2008. So I just hit my 10-year mark in the business. And I've been doing a lot of reminiscing. I've been thinking about, okay, just it being the 10-year mark and what's changed in technology and also what's changed like in our society and things like that. I have a picture here of a cell phone from 10 years ago. This is an iPhone 1, generation 1. And it's actually 2007 when it came out. But think about how much our technology has changed over the past 10 years in our lives. 10 years ago, we have one guy who was president. And then we have another one today who's president, right? So our society's changing a little bit. This is me and my girlfriend. This is over 10 years ago. This is at high school graduation. And this is me and my girlfriend today. Same girl. We have 3 kids together. So my life has definitely evolved over a period of 10 years. So this is a video of my first warehouse. This is actually in 2009. This is just about 10 years ago.
Is Lily at work today? She's making whipped body cream. Making it? We're putting her to work early age. What's that, Lily? You making it?
So fast forward to today. This is just a couple days ago. Same girl, same daughter.
Body cream, Lily? Starting her early.
So as we can see, things are evolving, things are changing. For me, I just want to show you guys a picture of how some of my career has gone over the past 10 years. This is a picture of my car 10 years ago, okay? Actually, just right out of high school, I bought this car. And are you ready for my car today? Are you guys ready to see my car that I drive right now today? Are you ready for this? There it is, right there, okay? So I show you this because in entrepreneurship, so often does it, this is one of the principles, and this car is kind of a physical representation of just like working, like being humble and working within my means and saving money. And really, like I was able to actually pull off having a business like this because of the amount of money I calculated. It was like $50,000 to $80,000 I've saved in monthly car payments over the past 10 years by just having a car paid off and doing this. And so in doing this, like as I ran my entrepreneurial career in this, I really focused on saving money, and it led to a year later, I got down on one knee, started another business with my wife. We call it Jump Made. This is a business. It's our side hustle. This is a business that we run. And so for all those of you who want to actually start a business, even though if you're in a job right now, if you're in a career and you might love your career, but you always have that little thing inside of you, like me and my wife, I kind of wanted to prove it to myself to see if we could run a small business or run another business on the side completely. So we started this little business, and when our kids are napping or our kids are in bed, it's a magnetic message board. We wanted people's messages to stand out or stick out. So it's called Jet Made. And we started in our basement. Within a year, we took it from the basement into distribution and manufacturing, and we turned it into a 6-figure company in less than a year, just completely on the side. So let's get to what we're actually here to talk about today, which is not dying, but innovating. Okay, innovation. Well, by the time you walk out of here, what my goal is for you to experience today is to really get your creative juices going. Okay. So I'm going to use this bottle throughout. I'm going to use this as a representation about getting your creative juice flow. So hopefully you can get some inspiration about things that maybe you can change in your job and your career from this talk. So with that being said, I have a bottle of juice here. Okay, this is going to represent our creative juice. I'm going to fill this up in 3 different ways. The first one I'm going to be talking about is innovation. Innovation is something for me that is. It's defined oftentimes with technology. Innovation is often defined with, we use the word breakthrough and disruptive and all those kind of things, but it's so much more, and it can also be so much simpler. Sometimes we think about this, we have this grand idea, or we have to have this big game-changing thing that we got to do. But innovation is simple in a lot of ways. I'm going to show you a couple of ways that on a technology level, obviously technology's changed. We all know how crazy technology is changing today. But this is a video. This is, you can look at robotics. Robotics are getting a lot less expensive. This is a Rubik's Cube that's randomly sort of arranged. And this is a robot that's going to solve a Rubik's Cube, and you'll see how fast it does it in.
Solving in 3, 2, 1.
You blink there? 0.3 of a second. That's how fast that goes. So you can see the technology and the way it's changing and the way our society is evolving with technology. I might have lost my connection here, so we'll just do this. So this is Levi jeans. So they took an old pair of jeans that has holes in it, and this is what they want the jeans to look like. They take an image of it, they scan it into their software, and then they draw over it. They'll take this technology and they'll actually, the little wrinkles and lines and everything you see on the jean, that's lasered on the front of that. So as lasers historically this process is actually hand done. It takes 20 to 30 minutes per pair of jeans, and it's really bad on the environment. It's really bad for workers. The health is a chemical they use that's super rough. So we can see the positive impact that technology is having on, within our businesses. So within innovation, I think it's so much more than technology, though. It has to do, I would associate the word really more with creativity, because there's just little things that we can tweak in our businesses and the way we run our lives and our jobs every single day that can help us innovate. So you guys recognize this music here, right? This is iconic. This is one of the most iconic sort of music tunes of all time. Jaws. Okay, so when's that going to cut off? So Jaws. This came out in 1975, but back when they were filming this, they had this mechanical shark, and they were filming this in the ocean, and in the ocean, it kept breaking down over and over and over again, and they could not get this thing to work. And so Steven Spielberg was directing this film, and so what they did was sometimes with regards to innovation, you're sort of compelled or you're forced to do it. So you're forced to innovate. Maybe it's a bad economy, maybe you don't have a lot of money, or maybe you have something that goes wrong and you're sort of compelled to do that. So what they did was they took a camera and they made it in the point of view of the shark, and they kind of went through the water. And so as they did this, and then they added the music, and it became people are still scared to go to the ocean because of this movie from the 70s. But to me, that's innovation. That's being creative. That's figuring out. And I had to, in my career, we didn't have a lot of money when we started, and we were sort of kind of forced to be super innovative. We had to figure out what we had to do to stand out. So we all know Netflix, right? I remember back on junior high for me, it felt like a Friday night when like my mom would take me and my buddies to Blockbuster and we'd like walk around the aisles and like you could smell the popcorn. They'd pop some popcorn for you. We could pick out our favorite movie. And like this, like it felt like a Friday night, right? This was like a cool, like a really nice thing. And so, but Blockbuster had this nostalgic feel, and they had this like they grew a huge business in hundreds of locations across the world. But what Blockbuster didn't realize is that people have smartphones in their pocket, and the Wi-Fi got really fast, and they had tablets and things like that. And they didn't. This is an example of a company who became stagnant with the success that they had. And the thing that I fear for myself and for all of us is that we've had, since 2008, the economy's been just like in a positive direction. It's a good economy. So sometimes we're not forced, and so we become comfortable. Like become this building where like we have this movie rental store, and we think that forever everyone's gonna like want to experience that, no matter how good technology gets. There's another business we're all aware of, like. At the end of this, we should be, we're getting in our cars and going home, or getting a ride and going home. We should pull up an app that says Yellow Cab or Taxi. We shouldn't be pulling an app that says Uber. Like this, the cab industry needs to think about, okay, like they thought that, technology like that can't take away our business. So the way I want you to think about technology is not like in a negative way about taking away opportunity or taking away your business, but in an opportunistic way. We have traditional big box retailers, right? So we have, rest in peace, Toys R Us. We have like the Toys R Us's of the world. We have things that are so iconic in our society that we would never think that they would ever go out of business. But we're seeing these traditional big box retailers actually go under. We have Amazon. Amazon's completely changed and flipped traditional big box retail completely on its head. The thing that's great about Amazon for small businesses. I mean, I have a friend who created it within a year. He created a 6-figure business selling playing cards on Amazon in less than a year. It's a business that is disrupting everything. They even have stores. Have you guys heard about Amazon Go? Amazon Go is they're test marketing this, and they're actually just opened a couple stores. But you walk in and you scan an app, and it says, and the app, like when you scan the Amazon Go app, and then you walk into the store and you take anything you want off the shelves and put it in a bag, and you walk out, and it automatically bills your credit card for what you just took out. So there's a consistency with these. I consider these 3 companies 3 of the most disruptive that we've seen in recent history. They're all selling convenience. And this is what we have to understand. Okay, like we're in the spa industry, and I know that we want to go and we want to, people want to put their phone away and they want to like lay down and relax and kind of get away from it all. And that's very true. And it's not always about speed in the spa. It's about slowing down a lot. But we're kidding ourselves if we don't understand that people, like time is the most valuable asset for people. The number one asset over anything, over money. Time is the asset. And we have to figure out how we can sell convenience in a deeper way in all of our businesses. Okay, I'm going to play for you guys a phone call. This was put out by Google a couple of weeks ago. They do like an annual keynote where they talk about new products and things like that. So you're going to hear a phone call, and before the phone call, the person saying the phone call, they actually just spoke on the phone and say, "Hey Google, book me a hair appointment from 10 a.m. to noon." So one side of it is an actual robot. It's a Google Assistant speaking to a human being on the other line.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have at 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
So does that freak anyone else out a little bit? It's cool, but it's kind of scary a little bit. We'll be having conversations, and this is not like the future. They're rolling out this stuff like now. This is happening right now, and so we can think about how this can change sales, how this can change customer service. There's really, it's so much of it's about voice. Voice is really the next frontier. Voice, it's so important to understand how this works and how this can impact every single one of your jobs and your businesses. The thing about voice is we need to understand, okay, like when somebody does say, hey Siri, hey Google, hey Alexa, book me an appointment, book me a massage, how are we going to be, where's our place in that? Are we going to be, like, how do we become the, hey, Alexa, like, buy my mom a Mother's Day present? And how is Alexa deciding what to do? Like, it makes it so important for us to be relevant online, like more important than ever, to be relevant online. So we need to be aware of these things. So, it might be where they say, okay, book me a massage, and maybe Google will calculate, because of their preferences, they don't want to pay, like beforehand, maybe you say, I don't want to pay more than $80 for a 60-minute massage. I want it to be a 4.5 star rating and above. And I want it, I want a female therapist. Like, here's my parameters, like tap, 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 tap. And now it knows what I like and literally is going to automatically book me a massage to my perfect specifications. So this is the thing I feel like is going to happen. And so we need to be aware of these platforms, and we need to be aware of this technology so we can position our businesses in a way and always be aware of this stuff and stay in touch with all this stuff. One of the most important things that I did very early on in my career was define the business that I was in, the actual business I was in. So, we weren't selling, if I would ask you what business are you in, or like tell me about your business, you would oftentimes if you have a spa, you're like, okay, we have a spa, we have 8 treatment rooms, we do facials and manicures and pedicures and massages, and we do some laser treatments or whatnot. But we need to understand what, on a higher level, on a 30,000 foot level, look down at your business and understand what actual business you're in. Are you in the wellness business? Are you in the pampering business? Are you in, like for me, we had these, we sold manicure and pedicure products and scrubs and lotions and body muds and stuff like that. But very early, I understood that we were in the experiences business, the custom experience business. And so that's the way I designed everything around the company. And when I made that decision early on about the brand, and I defined that we were actually in the custom experience, we're in the business of creating custom experiences. That's what we were in the business of doing. When I did that, it helped me drive innovation. It helped me come up with new ideas. Like what I have today in my company would not exist at all without defining that super early on. So take a step back, even if you're in sales, like even if your job, like what am I in the business to serve people? Or am I in the wellness business? And then you start to think about, okay, if we're in the wellness business, how do we take this to the next level? How do we educate people about wellness? How do we, and so when you do, I think this is so important. I did this, like I say, like almost day one. Like I was trying to define what I was good at and what business I was actually in. I'm going to paint for you guys a picture of that. This is, in my mind, some of the future of spa. So imagine you walk into a treatment room. There's a voice activated. There's a screen, and like you walk into the room and you select. You might hit some pressure points that you have. You might, and then you put some virtual reality goggles on, and then you're immediately transformed. You select which country, which region of the world you want to be in. Maybe it's in midsummer and you're in Florida and it's really hot, and so you want to be transformed to like Park City, Utah. So you hit Park City, and immediately the temperature changes in the room. The voice asks you to go lay face down on the bed. You then lay face down. You can see a little creek running under the river there. You can smell pine. You can see pine trees. You can hear birds chirping. So it's a total sensory experience. And then proceeded after that, there's a 3D body scan that comes in and scans your body. and proceeds to give you a 90-minute 6-hand massage with a machine, right? The crazy thing about this technology already exists in all this stuff. There's not a company that does this, per se, right now, but this technology is out there. I mean, this phone I'm holding in my hand right now, this is more powerful than what the leader of the free world 25 years ago had to run this country with. So we're kidding ourselves if we don't pay attention to technology and what it's actually going to do. So when I say this technology exists in other applications, in other industries, in healthcare, like it's only a matter of time before it gets applied to spa. And so I mentioned walking into that treatment room. That's at a resort or that's at a spa. What happens when that's at a consumer's house, right? What happens is they're like, I'm going to turn my office into a little wellness room. This technology becomes less and less expensive. You know, like drones, for example. Drones are becoming less and less expensive. They started out like no one could own a drone. Now like a 13-year-old can have a drone, right? So as those become less expensive, I mean, have you heard about Amazon 30-minute Prime? We have Amazon Prime. I can order something right now. I can order paper towels right now, and I can have them in my house for free shipping on Wednesday. But 30-minute Prime, they're testing this in certain markets, is you order something and in 30 minutes a drone delivers it to your home. So as we see like the advancement of the cost savings, this is where I think spa will go a number of ways, and nothing will ever replace an inhuman, like a person's energy and the touch of a human being, ever, right? A robot can never do that. But there's a lot of things that we are surprised about that robots are replacing in this world. So while we can think about the robots and all that kind of stuff, we also just need to take advantage of what we have right now. Like there's so much that we have in 2018 at our fingertips that we're really not taking advantage of. So if we're not taking advantage of what we have right now, like we're going to be way beyond and past. Like in 5 years, like what's happened in 10 years with the first iPhone in 2008, 2007, from what's happened to today in the advancement of technology, think about what's that past 10 years, right? Like I never would have thought, like I can just literally, right now, I could just call somebody across the world and see their face immediately and have a conversation with them. And so over the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to exponentially blow way past that. So in stuff that we can't even fathom, that I can't even fathom. So we have our little bottle of innovation here, okay? Hopefully your creative juices are starting to flow a little bit. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is experiences, is moments. And this is the next subject with creative juice. So experiences, I'm super stoked about this subject because I feel like there's so many little things that you can do to impact an employee's experience at work, a guest experience when you come to the spa, a relationship from a vendor to a spa. There's so many little tiny things you can do that mean so much and that can impact it greatly. I've built a lot of my brand, the brands that I have on experiences. And so I think that, again, sometimes we think about them and we've got to create these mind-blowing things. Sometimes the little things are what counts and how we can do that. So I'm going to describe to you we're in the hospitality industry, it's service industry. I'm going to describe to you a hotel. And this hotel has, it's just like it's kind of average, honestly. Like it looks average. It's 2 stories, no elevator. It's got like the pool is a little bit bigger than this stage. This hotel has, one year they painted it bright yellow. It kind of looks more like a motel. The rooms are kind of average. Nothing really to like get excited about. Like the thread count on the sheets is not high or anything like that. But lobbies like super standard. But this hotel, this is a picture of it actually right here. It's called the Magic Castle Hotel. Has anybody heard of this? Yes. You've heard of that, okay? So this is the picture of it. This hotel is the number 2 rated hotel in LA out of 432 hotels. Okay? I mean, over some of the brands that we're thinking of in our minds right now. Number 2 rated on TripAdvisor. These are by users and people they have over 3,200 reviews. So why is this over like some of the top brands in the world? Why is this rated higher? They're 4.5-star reviews, by the way. Experiences. They create moments and experiences that people talk about. They create things. So for example, when typically at a hotel, like there's like a snack bar and a Snickers and stuff like that, and it charge you $3 if you open that Snickers, that's standard, right? But they have a menu, a snack menu, so you bring your kids down to California, Southern California for Disneyland, and your kids can choose out, I want a cream soda, and I want some Cracker Jacks, and I want some chips, and a little menu at the front desk, and they'll just give you those for free. That's the number one rated thing on TripAdvisor. Hundreds of reviews. The other thing is they have this, the next most talked about thing is they have this thing called the popsicle hotline. It's a bright red phone. You can't see it from here. There's a bright red phone hooked to the wall on the side of the pool. And it says popsicle hotline above it. You pick it up and somebody answers and it says, popsicle hotline, what can I do for you? And then they come out with somebody with a suit and white gloves comes out with a silver tray and ice with a cherry grape or orange popsicle. This is a free little popsicle. So this is what people talk about. How was your trip to California? How was your trip to Disneyland? It was amazing. The kids had a blast. We stayed at this really cool place, and they had a popsicle hotline on the side of the pool. Like literally, like people don't talk about things that are expected. Like the room is nice, but like they're not going to talk about that. They talk about stuff like this. It's so simple. This is like the easiest and the least expensive thing you could possibly do. So think about your businesses and how can you create like mini experiences in your companies and your jobs with your clients and with your employees. They also have free laundry service. So just put your laundry in a bag and drop it off and they'll do your laundry for you, right? They have washers and dryers there. They'll just take care of it. So pretty amazing. At Salt of the Earth, we wanted to, we're focused on creating experiences from top to bottom in our business. And so we opened a new facility. This is maybe 5 years ago, but we are opening our new offices, and we wanted to show our new spot off. We wanted for people online to see it. So what we did was we created an event and a party, and I wanted there to be one sort of pinnacle moment at this party. So I asked my wife we had this jar, and it was like a white, our packaging was white back then. And I was like, Laura, can you make a giant piñata that looks like one of these jars? And she's like, sure. So she just went on Pinterest and found out how to do this. And I promoted this party. I call it a spa piñata. But what I did was I created a lot of buzz around this. And then I went and got a lot of local influencers in Utah that are big, bloggers and things like that. And I said, hey, come to our party. We're going to custom mix you a product, one of our products. You're going to get a little hand and arm treatment for free. We're going to have food there. And I painted this amazing picture. This is in my mind what we were going to do. We're going to have a big piñata at 9 o'clock. And so we got some big names to come there. I took those big blogger names that people recognize in the industry. There were a lot of them were food bloggers, actually. And I went to Whole Foods and some other companies. I said, hey, can you give me a discount on the food? And they're who's going to be there? And I talked to them. They're well, can we be the exclusive food sponsor? I'm sure. You can pay for the food. And then I do a lot of IKEA hacking in my offices. So I cut up a lot of IKEA stuff and repurpose it and stuff. And so I contacted IKEA. I was like, this is what I've done with my offices. I'm going to show this off to a lot of influencers. Do you want to sponsor this? And they're like, yeah. So they gave everybody a robe that came, and they gave a bag full of stuff. So all of a sudden I have a piñata full of, I contacted my local spas, and they gave me $100 gift cards and stuff like that. All of a sudden we have this piñata that's full of about $3,000 worth of stuff. And we created an experience for these people. There's only one injury. It wasn't too bad, but like that, are all their phones out? Yes. Are they talking about it? Yes. Are they talking about this for long? When's the last time you did a piñata? As an adult, right? And it's about thinking about how do you create a moment for people that they're going to talk about and remember. And it's about being creative. So we need to sometimes it can be a moment where, even for me, the fact that Monica got me the Fiji water and the jelly beans and the wintergreen mints, Like, I'm going to remember that, right? I'm totally going to remember that. And I'm going to talk about it a lot too. That's just a little thing. Like, what did that cost her? She like went to the store. She like I joked about it. Like, this is my demands as a speaker. This is what I need, just as a joke. She went to the store. She took some time. She remembered it. She spent just a little bit of money, but that created an experience for me and that I'll remember and that I can talk about, right? So sometimes we can do them spur of the moment. You change your mentality. How do I create an experience for somebody? Sometimes we just need to invent them. Sometimes we need to say, okay, we need to invent an experience, like a ritual. Is there a way that you can invent your own rituals that are like, yeah, traditional spa, but like what can we do within all of our businesses to invent those? Celebrations. Can you create your own holiday? Like March 1st is like when I purchased the company Salt of the Earth. So like that's Salt of the Earth's holiday. It's like our birthday, right? So we create, sometimes we'll do a party with this. I think that this is several years ago, but we had our website, we launched our new website, and we were super excited about it, and we're like, okay, how do we like promote this? How do we promote the fact that we have a new website? And so we had access to a lake house in Utah, and so I thought, well, let's just do a party for our staff, and let's film it and document it. So we did a party where everybody came out, they bring their spouses, and we just like had a good time and filmed it and then cut it into a video, and it turned out great. So a lot more people saw it than if I were just go on camera or like put on Facebook like, hey, check out our new website. But like, no, I'm going to throw a party. I'm going to tag a bunch of people in it, all my staff and all their spouses, and create a really fun atmosphere. And guess what? My staff's happy because we had a party, and they're the most important. And then more and more people know about this. So just think about what you can do to create a moment and a celebration for you and your staff. This is a rule that I've sort of made up. I call it the 3% rule, okay? This 3% rule is so often in our businesses and our jobs do we jump, like there's dollars, and we jump over dollars to scrape pennies off the floor. So sometimes we get a little bit cheap, okay? And what I mean by that is we need to get creative about the way we think about our interaction with our clients and our employees. So, for example, if I were to go book a pedicure somewhere for myself, they ask standard questions. They ask what time and all that kind of stuff. But what they should be asking is my preferences and what I like if they've never met me before. So, hey, Paul, what's your favorite drink? What's this? What's it? Okay, like I tell them, like right now, like my favorite drink, if you got raspberry Coke, is my favorite drink right now. So if they understand that about me, what if I came to the pedicure and they had that on ice, like the Fiji water? What if they had that waiting for me as a surprise, my favorite beverage? What did that cost them? It cost them some thought, creativity, and it took them a little bit of time, and it cost them $1. Like, I say 3% because people talk about the 3%. They talk about the little thing that costs you 3% of the entire cost of doing business. That's what they talk about. So often does it happen as well I call it salary slicing, okay? So, for example, if you're gonna, say you were hiring somebody in their particular job, it's like a $40,000 to $50,000 a year salary, just this job. So like you could get away with 40, like they'd be really happy at 50, but maybe you're paying them $40,000 a year. What I want you to think about is what if you said, I'm gonna pay this person $45,000 a year. That's gone, like that's their salary. But then competitively, like you could pay them 40 grand, right? So pay them the 40 grand, save slice that 5 off, the $5,000. Spend $5,000 on them annually. So they come into work on a Friday, they've been working really hard, and you say, hey, you've been working really hard. We really appreciate you. Tell you what, we got a limo for you. We already arranged it with your husband to get a sitter and this, and we already booked a room for you. Here's $300 cash. It's already paid for. Cost as a company $700. Can you fathom how stoked you would be, first of all, if you showed up to work and that happened, and how an employee would feel. So this is just literally taking, and instead of paying him $5,000 more, this is slicing that up. And like for me, like if I'm working for somebody, they know I'm a huge Utah Jazz fan. Like I'm a huge fan. Like, and they're you know, during a big playoff game, they're going to buy me tickets, lower bowl. I'm just putting it out there in the universe. No. So no, they're going to buy me tickets and they're going to send me to the game with my wife. They're going to pay attention to what I care about, and they're going to do that. Valentine's in August. So, you know, if I show up with a dozen roses on Valentine's Day to my wife, and here you go, Laura, here's a dozen. Oh, Paul, you're so thoughtful. Roses on Valentine's? Wow. This is amazing. Like, it's way different if I, on August 27th, if I bring her roses, right? Completely different story. Sometimes it's all about timing. Again, creating the moment and the experience. Think about like something that happens a lot. Like, you know, I know some corporations, some people in business, smart ones, they don't give any gifts in November, December because people receive a lot of gifts. They do all their gift giving throughout the rest of the year. In March, in mid-March. Like, we're gonna give our clients an appreciation gift on July, 18th instead of Christmas. It's gonna get way more recognized. And so much in business we call them scripts, okay? The scripts are things that happen every day. Somebody calls a book appointment. We call and get a reorder for a client. Somebody returns a product. Stuff that happens every day in business and every day in your jobs and just in normal transactions. These are just scripts. So what we need to think about is tearing the script, breaking the script, and changing it up and tweaking it up. So when somebody comes in to return a product, maybe it's a bad example or an example of, it's a bad example. Somebody comes in and they call and they book an appointment. How do we break that script and create a little moment and experience with that? They come in and they have a quick question. They want to check out menu prices. Can we create a little ritual beyond that? Right? So these are scripts. We need to think about how we can break them. So we have our experiences here. We've gone through some of these experiences and we've filled up our little. Hopefully your creative juices are flowing. I want this overflowing by the end. But now we're going to be talking about BYOM. This is Be Your Own Media Company. Okay, we have access. I mean, American Spa and this platform, like this is an amazing opportunity for us to connect with people. But becoming your own media company is leveraging what you do, leveraging the advertising you do in American Spa, leveraging the relationships that you make today in person, and scaling those and keeping them for a lot longer time. So being your own media company is so important because like this is something we've done. So 5 years ago, like Nick's over here right now. So he does all of our video content. All the videos you see, he does those. He's my little brother. And we said, hey, Nick, like here's a camera. Oh, there's my kids right here. We're getting FaceTimed right here. Kim's like, what's your wife's cell phone? I'm going to FaceTime them. So, but I think that like what we need to focus on is in being your own media company. We literally gave Nick, we're like, here's a camera, learn this 15 seconds at a time. Learn how to edit, learn how to cut this up. And he took a camera and he became good at it. So every week we did these like weekly videos. This is starting about 5 years ago. We called them Farewell Fridays, right? So where we would take the video and we would just show, we wanted to show the humans that ran the business. We wanted to show our personalities. We wanted to show our office off. And by doing this is a little culmination of the past 5 years of videos so you guys can check out.
Loving can heal. Loving can mend your soul. And it's the only thing that I know. I know still love me the same, love me the same.
I know you're always on that night shift, but I can't stand these nights alone. 'Cause I don't wanna waste my time. Don't wear that gypsy skin tight, put my hair up real nice. I didn't know that I was starving till I tasted you.
So, work hard, play hard, right? That's a little bit of our mentality. You know, at the end of the day, people do business with people, right? We're all here to meet people. Being your own media company, creating your own media company, scales. Like every single person here is an individual. Every single person here has talent. They have a personality. They are an individual that, you know, can be connected with on much greater level scaling that. So as a company that we had like 5 employees, one of them was a videographer. Right now we're converting even some of my office staff. We have 9 employees at our company. So I hired a new office manager that's our photographer also. It was a dual position. We have a full-time videographer. I had an education coordinator that the next one that came in, I hired it. She's a content writer we have a digital spa school. She writes spa school scripts. So literally like half of our little company is centered around media. We want to show the transparency and the authenticity of the brand, and we want to show, the human side. Like somebody knows who our office manager is. They saw us, scare her 20 times in this video, right? They see the human side of our business. And so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about this. Is like 4 years ago at iSpa conference, International Spa Association conference. I put myself out there on video a lot. I put a lot of videos out there. I'm not afraid to make myself look stupid. But the iSpa called like 4 years ago, and they're like, hey, our auctioneer is going to be out of town during iSpa. Do you want to be the auctioneer? And I was like, sure, I guess. And so they raised a lot of money for that foundation, and it was like in front of a lot of people. And I was intimidated, I'm not going to lie. But the fact that I put myself out there is why I had an opportunity. The fact that I'm speaking right now is because I put myself out there, and we created our own media company, essentially. I just can't tell you how much opportunity that I have had in my life because of this. So what we need to do is we need to not everybody you can't like, okay, like I'm a spa director at a hotel, like how am I supposed to do this? They're not gonna give me a budget for a videographer. How am I supposed to tell this media story? Like you start with what you have. We started with cell phones. There's a lot of 19, 20-year-old interns out there that want to be in videography and photography that literally would probably be willing to work for free or for cheap. But it's about using resources, like using cell phones and just literally using what you have to start. The key is it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be edited perfect. But we didn't start perfect. I mean, we started, and half of our content that's really good is on a cell phone. And so you just have to figure out how you can storytell online. This is how do you communicate a message? Because at the end of the day, if you have someone's attention, then you can, if you're looking for a new assistant manager, if you're looking for a new esthetician, if you have the attention of people, then you're going to win. You're going to be able to hire who you want to hire. People will want to come work with you. It's all about, really the game is about attention at the end of the day. So we've got, in really creativity, like for me, creativity is the thing that's won for us. And so, again, I want you guys to think about how you can create your own media company, how you can build experiences. how you can do these different things. Like people like to have fun, right? We all like to have fun at work and at home. Create like a show, document the process. Like can you imagine, like if you were to start in this industry, maybe you started as a massage therapist, and you would have documented the first time, your first job, and then 20 years later, you're like, you have that footage, right? Some of us didn't have video cameras back then at our fingertips, but I mean, for me, like I have a couple, like 2 videos from when I started, like that. You saw one of them with my daughter. But imagine if I was like talking about like, yeah, I want to do this, and I want to create this concept where we do custom stuff. Like, what if I was just filming this? Like, if you can't create content, just document what you're doing and the journey of it. And like, sometimes that journey, in the same time it's amazing. Sometimes it can be amazing 10 years later. So I'm taking on my own challenge a little bit. I have this creative juice. I already do a lot of content, but I'm tripling, quadrupling down myself. So I will be starting a new show. I'm going to put it on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm going to call it Creative Juice Show. I'm going to be talking about this subject and many others, about small business, about running startups, about side hustles, about all that. And that's going to come soon. Paul Heslop on Instagram. I just barely launched that. But so yeah, I appreciate you guys' ears today. I appreciate your time.
Well, I actually wanted to ask you, you talk about how important your employees are to you. What sort of loyalty, and how long have your employees been with you? Because it seems like you probably are creating a pretty loyal task force, which is hard. We're all facing this industry, keeping employees. We're all short-staffed right now.
I think so. I think it's super hard to retain people. I mean, like we talk about millennials, right? Like they kind of hop around a lot and leave and come and go and stuff like that. I mean, we need to, the question is we should figure out what the younger generation cares about. Like one of the biggest things for me that I felt like they've cared about is flexibility. So I've had to adapt and change what I feel like. I believe in certain principles and things, but I need to like understand like what people care about. Like when they start, or even before they start, I'm like, what do you care about when you come to work? What do you love? What do you like about your last boss? What do you hate about your last boss? What do you care about most? People are like, I honestly just want to have a flexible, I want to have like everybody just wants to have a good working environment with no drama, right? We all want that. But when people verbalize that to you, and like I drive down and I literally ask them what they care about most. If I know what they care about, then I can go in and take care of them. And people are different. Like for one person it's this and another person it's that, but just have them verbalize that to you.
The expense of replacing them is often a lot higher than the expense of making them happy.
Completely. And it goes also back to experiences, right? Sometimes, like if you were to monitor someone throughout an 8-hour day, like their happiness level of like their job, right? Like we have tough, like there's production where you're like doing repetitive things and it's hard. It's like labor intensive, but like a lot of these people walk that way and like at the end of the day, they're like, I love my job. That was a fun job. But like, okay, but if you put a like thing on the wrist that monitor their happiness level throughout that time, it's like they're going to be tired and like not having a blast the whole time. But like when we can peel 10 minutes off and go jump rope in the parking lot and film it, that creates a moment, and they forget about like the other stuff, like the castle, the Magic Castle Hotel. People they ignore the sheets that are not quality. They ignore the not so clean, area or lobby or pool or whatever. They remember the moments years later, and that's what we've tried to do with employees.
Anybody else? Because I have one. The other thing that I wanted to have you touch on is, can you talk a little bit about, you talked about it a bit, but how easy is it to get into the media side of things? Because you start out and you think, oh my gosh, the video and the lights, it's not that hard. So
yeah.
If somebody doesn't know how to start it, what would you suggest first step?
Yeah, I would suggest, like for us, again, like, I mean, the iPhones and stuff like that, like the technology is in a way now that it can look really quality. And the key is like you can like film a bunch and you're like, wow, that was not very good. Like, how do I make this look better? And so it does take talent and art and skill to be able to edit in the right way. But just figure out what you're good at. Like some people are super good at writing. Like I can't really write that well. Like I can do videos really, really good. If you can talk, if you're a talker, like the thing is, like I mentioned voice, like people like to multitask. And so podcasting, like is there a big spa podcast out there right now? Is there somebody talking about how to increase your revenue at your spa? Is there people talking about, like there's so many opportunities, something that you're passionate about. So first I would, if you, with regards to media, I would figure out like if there's a sort of like a sub passion beyond like your job, and maybe that sub passion is something specific in the industry that you can talk about. And when you're really passionate about something funny happens. Like you want to spend a lot of time on it, and you don't mind spending a lot of time on it, and you're willing to put in the work to either get better at that and to practice it because you're passionate about that subject. Or, so if you don't have the means to hire somebody, first of all, create an internship. Like go to local college, and I would say, hey, we're looking for a videographer at our amazing resort or amazing spa. It's a summer internship. Like summers, people are graduating. There's tons of people that want opportunity that work for free or for very little, and say we're going to create a show about our spa. If I was starting a spa today, I would literally, my retail area would be a video studio. I would create content full time. I'd have estheticians that are good on camera create content, and then we happen to have 4 treatment rooms in the back room that we did treatments with. But all I wanted to do was get the customers and the attention. So that's what I would do.
Alrighty, well, I think Monica's going to come and give you a little bit of information about the rest of the day. And